Yes. This is me. Yeah. That doesn't really help at all on YouTube.
Well, it's delayed.
Okay.
That's adjusted. That's
Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, it does make a big difference. All right. Let me go back to my Zoom screen. Okay, I gotta get this set up. I think the thing is in my bag.
Jesus Christ. All righty.
You just want to tear your bread up. You're supposed to.
All righty.
Okay.
You just want to tear your bread up.
All right.
All right. We're getting faster and faster at setting all this up.
All right.
Okay, I think I have to mute the YouTube if I have not already.
Essentially, that somebody else thing, maybe can share, but I had to wait a little while.
Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Welcome in, everyone. Just give us a second as we get prepared. Hey, John on YouTube. Welcome in, Veronica and others on TikTok. And we are about to let our friends-in-law in on Zoom. So let's see if you guys have been made admin. Yes, so we have Linnea and brotherhassan.com as co-hosts right now. Gratitude for the daily hurt me. All right, go ahead and let our friends-in-law on Zoom in here. If you on TikTok, if you want to join us on the Newbie Tuesday, you can just scan that and join us. Okay. I haven't quite figured out yet how to use all the features over there on YouTube, but we're at least getting to co-broadcast. So we'll do everything a little bit at a time. All right, great day and welcome everyone to today's live. Today is Tuesday, the alleged 23rd day of the month of June in the fake year of 2026. And since it's Tuesday, we're here for our Newbie Tuesdays, as we have been for several years, even though you might be today years old when you discovered our community. We have been around for at least 7 years. So on Newbie Tuesdays, what we talk about primarily are questions and concerns and even mythology that people in this law study space have been suffering. We typically call it GAS, Guru Abuse Syndrome, where people tell us things like correct our status and do something with the birth certificate and the social security card number on the back and something about the Bill of Exchange Act and Sesta KV trusts and all types of very strange, seemingly advanced things that are obstacles for newbies to have comprehension of what's really going on and what is really material to getting their remedy. Every time I start to feel like maybe people are getting bored of what we talk about on Newbie Tuesdays, I am dropped into somebody's live that reminds us why we are here faithfully every Tuesday since 2019. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Put a 1 in the chat if it resonates with you. The first things that people see when they start to research what's going on, when they ask questions about how they might be able to get remedy, that you start hearing stuff about Sesta KV Trust and the Bill of Exchange Act and things, again, that seem advanced, but again, are only obstacles for newbies. They're only obstacles for newbies because those who are not newbies, we've realized that either before we tried any of those things, because it just smelled fishy to us and we didn't buy it, or after we've tried some of those things and proven it to ourselves that they are not only immaterial to our remedy, regardless if our problem is a traffic ticket, a parking ticket, child support, alleged child abuse charges, divorce, foreclosure, eviction, it is totally irrelevant. We've realized that. Let me see who I have in the room. Put a 1 in the chat if you figured it was BS before you tried any of it. Put a 2 in the chat if you had to try at least some of it first and prove it to yourself that it didn't work. Which one are you? Did you know it was nonsense before you even tried it? Or did you try some of it and then realize that it's nonsense? My head almost exploded when someone came in my live with that yesterday. You see what I'm talking about? This is what Reggie says on TikTok. So here we are thinking, maybe we should go on to other topics. But yesterday, someone is coming into a live where they're like, it's because you didn't correct their status. I actually was on a live where someone, first of all, they're saying how to beat foreclosure with exclusive equity. Some of you guys might have seen my repost about that. How to beat foreclosure with exclusive equity. And which is strange because, of course, some of us who are a little bit more red know that foreclosure is an action in equity. Did you guys know that? Foreclosure itself is an action in equity. Did you know that? Or were you today years old when you learned that? Foreclosure is an action in equity. If you want to prove it to yourself, y'all already know what to do. Don't be out here having a computer at your fingertips where you can type in the BS that you're hearing these gurus say and get it disproven, okay, or proven with the click of a few buttons, okay? Foreclosure is an action in equity. As a matter of fact, if you go research, for example, in Florida, and you get into the Florida foreclosure section, isn't that the first sentence? Isn't that the first sentence? Who's ever went to look? Florida, in Florida, foreclosure is an action in equity. They take you to the section 70 something. Check it, guys. Call me if it's BS. So somebody is sharing a success story on this live. And after they get done sharing their success story, guys, somebody says, but did you change your status? I was like, well, how is that relevant? How is it relevant? Somebody's sharing a success story. How is it relevant? See, there you go. 702. See? It's in the chat here. If you're on Zoom, it's in the chat. This is how you join us on Zoom if you want. Take a picture of this. Make sure you drop your daily heart me. Follow your host. If you don't already, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Because it's a Band-Aid. Welcome in, guys. Gratitude for dropping your daily heart me. Gratitude for tapping it out. Okay. Right here in the chat, 702.
Malika, a quick emotional outburst. So
Go
I'm on Zoom, right? And I'm pressing the screen like if we on TikTok.
Well, you guys know y'all can have both open. Just make sure one's on mute. Someone is sharing a success story, but someone is like, oh, but did you change your status? Did you correct your status? Or if you didn't get through the first time, it's because you weren't speaking to them from your office.
I changed my status to a win.
Oh, where's our friend-in-law Thad at? He said he changed his status from a BN to a PN. Some of y'all gonna get the reference, and some of y'all don't even worry about it if you don't. Let me get a haha in the chat if you guys know what I'm talking about. I changed my status from defendant to dismissant. Okay. From defendant to dismissant. I'm gonna pin that status. Pin that comment. I actually think I need a mod on YouTube. If somebody wants to be my mod on YouTube, send an email to support and let us know you're willing and able to be our mod on YouTube. Because we want to make sure that we treat our friends on YouTube just as good, at least, as our friends on Zoom and on TikTok, whichever you guys might be joining us from. Okay. Yeah, send me a message, bro, so I could see how to make you, like if it's just a button that I have to press on whatever account you're going to be using on there. I appreciate that. So we have been sharing also our newbie guide. We've been sharing our newbie guide in the chat here on Zoom. However, if we can get it shared on TikTok and on YouTube, that would be awesome. And again, if you're just passing through here on TikTok and you want to join us, even if it's not today, just take a screenshot of this picture right here and just scan that code right there, and you will be able to join us when we are live at noon on Tuesdays. And of course, if you take a screenshot, you'll have everything. You have the time, okay, and the day and the location and all that. And we should probably do the same for our other pages as well, that you guys can join us. So get your newbie questions together. Get your hand up to ask your newbie question. Let's be sure that we try to do our best to keep it on topic, because it is very important. There are people out here still saying things like, you can't charge me because I'm the beneficiary of my trust, of my revocable trust. So I'm going to subrogate and discharge for set off. Anybody ever heard those things? Anybody entertaining those ideas right now?
Ooh.
I don't consent to contract with this court. Right. Who said those types of things? I don't consent to contract with this court is what you're saying when you're in court. Welcome in. All right. So who's come prepared to participate? Because I'm not hearing from you guys. So let's go. Yes, welcome in. Shout out to all our winners that shared last week. We got the attorneys out here playing games, y'all. We got them hopping and a skipping and a jumping. And it's because of that reading comprehension.
Hey, Malika, I wanted to let you know that I met somebody down in the Supreme Court named Della who was on the call today. She has some stuff she wants to talk about. I invited her to your call.
Awesome. Are they in the room with us right now?
I believe so. She said she was.
All right. Well, let her raise her hand and get in queue.
Okay.
So I wanted to let you guys know, before we get into other things, that the classes on freedomfromgovernment.org are moving over to lawfulliving.com. We're consolidating the sites as far as the community and the classrooms are concerned. It's taking us a long time to finally get to where we are ready to transfer it, but that's what's going to be happening. So you guys can use your one login and your one screen name and access all the features of the website and the community. What's still going to be over on Freedom from Government is going to be the merch. So all the shirts and the plates and the books and the physical things, they're still going to be over there at freedomfromgovernment.org. And I wanted to also let you guys know, I'm going to bring it up here on the screen, that we have our mortgage mentorship program. Shout out to everybody who has already shown their interest, but I wanted to make sure that I'm showing you guys how to get to it right here. This is the URL. Oh, it's showing me it to me on the inside. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. So we're going to have an email going out tonight, giving you guys a little bit more insight about what is being offered in this mentorship program, why it's different from our all access, what you need to do if you're already all access and you want to get in the program. But if you go to the website there, you just sign up and let us know that you're at least interested and where we should send the information if you're interested in getting into the mortgage mentorship program. Yes, this particular program is only for the mortgage mentorship. Okay, we might include other things in the future, but as you guys know, where you live, your shelter, securing your shelter is the most important thing in people's lives. If you don't have a secure shelter, you can't really focus on getting remedy in other areas of your life. Who would agree with that? Even if you want to fight for your children, fight for custody of your children, if you don't have some place to shelter them, what are you going to be able to show about your ability to take care of your family, right? Where are you going to store your files? Where are you going to lay your head and meditate and breathe, right? So it is so important about securing your shelter that we're doing a dedicated mortgage mentorship program. You guys can read about what's already involved. We're probably going to change it up and add more things to make it more valuable for you guys. I'm going to be doing most of my lives here on TikTok about how to properly challenge your mortgage and foreclosure. So make sure you subscribe. Look out for that. We'll let you know when we go live. We'll go over our free training. And then if you guys want more personalized help, we will give you an opportunity to join the mentorship program. Just let us know you're interested and you'll be on top of, you'll be made knowing, okay, of whatever we have going on. The other thing I want to mention before we get going is Hassan is doing his first class for the community on the 11th of July. No, the 8th. The 8th, right?
No, it's the 11th and
The
the
11th.
18th.
Okay, so I was right. The 11th, I'm sorry. And the 18th. So you guys are going to want to sign up for that at the end of the class or in the comments. Make sure you let us know before we go, guys. Don't let me forget again to bring it up on the screen so you guys can scan the code, take a photocopy, all of that. You can also request it in the chat. I'm sure him and his team are going to get it in over there. And of course, announcing he's just launched his website, brotherhassan.com. So you guys check that out. All right, so we got some hands up, so let's just get into that. Josette, go ahead with your question, comment, emotional outburst.
Mine, I guess, is an emotional outburst. Even though I have officially lost my case as far as I know, I did learn something about strip searches in Tennessee, that they are not allowed to strip search you. It's illegal to strip search you for a misdemeanor, like just as traffic violation or whatever. And I didn't know that. And I'm already past my statute of limitations. Otherwise, I would have had a federal case. But I just thought if anybody else didn't know that if you get arrested for a misdemeanor, they're not supposed to strip search you, according to Tennessee statutes, that is. So I just wanted to share that.
Gratitude. Check into it, Tennessee friends. And even if you're not in Tennessee, you might be able to find your state equivalent of the same. So check it out in Tennessee and see how you might be able to use that to benefit you in your situation.
It's called restricted strip searches.
Restricted
Strip
strip
searches.
searches. Go ahead and type that in the chat, guys. Restricted strip searches in Tennessee, and see if you can find the equivalent. Someone says, "Is this the person you're looking for?" Slams the birth certificate on the table. The all caps name isn't me. Oh, this is the type of stuff that they have newbies do. And I don't know if people do that just for fun. Do you think people do that just so they could laugh at you, laugh at us if we were to do that? Are they making us fodder for jokes? Or do they actually believe these things are true and work as far as taken seriously by the courts? What do you guys think? Do the people telling us to do this nonsense actually believe that that's worked? Or are they doing it so that they could laugh at us? What do you guys think?
I don't think they're doing it just for fun. I think they actually do believe it.
You think they actually believe it? But if they believe it, shouldn't it be based on them seeing that it's worked?
Well, sometimes they get these people desperate, you know, and they'll do anything they're told. They
Yes,
believe.
I get that. I get that. We're talking about the people who is doing the tolding.
Yeah.
Are they believing that it works genuinely because they've seen proof? Because if the answer is no, they're not believing based on proof, then it goes back to perhaps they're doing it so they can laugh at us. Because why do you believe it if you've not seen it work? You've not made it work for yourself, and you don't have any proof that it's worked. So why would you be telling me to do it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you said the people that go and do it in court, are they doing it because they believe it or because they're trying to be funny? But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm talking about the people who are telling us to go do that stuff. Go slam your birth certificate on the table. I know McReal's watching. I'm laughing at you, bro.
You got to think the people go back after slamming their birth certificate on the table, that they would go back to their gas and tell them, hey, this what happened. What do you think?
I think
To,
it's
to add,
happening. I think it's happening. And what sometimes is happening is the gurus will say that you did it wrong. Anybody know
yeah,
what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
you slammed it with your
that
left hand and
happened
not your
too
right.
because, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I just
I
said
heard
you
him. He was
slammed it with
making a
your left
joke.
hand, not your right.
You slammed it down with your left hand when you should have slammed it down with your right hand. Yes, they moved the bar. When you said, "Hey, I went to court, I slammed my birth certificate down there," and they laughed me out of the room, or the bailiff escorted me, or they ordered a mental eval. Put mental eval in the chat if y'all know what I'm talking about right here on TikTok. Put mental eval in the chat.
And then what I also see happening too is um man, it's the new shiny thing syndrome that's happening. Example, what guy shared with me in a DM was a video of a brother basically having a new shiny thing syndrome with mandamus,
Oh,
and was like, yeah, man, well, if you got this going on or whatever, all you got to do is put together a writ of mandamus and that'll make the court do what need to be done. And I don't know, I don't know how fast it happened, but I know,
wait. All you have to do is put together a writ of mandamus?
man, my forehead was in my hand so fast after I
All
looked
you
at
have to
that
do is put
video.
together a writ of your own?
I mean, yeah. And then he was like, when he looked it up and saw that it directs the lower court to do what they obligated to do, yeah, he just did. I was just sitting there like, okay, that's when a huger light bulb went off for me. And the huger light bulb that goes off for me is yes, the people know something is wrong, right? Let's just say you guys, you absolutely know something's wrong. Let's say it's a cut and you know you need antiseptic, but for some reason you keep rubbing dirt into the wound and then talk about, I'm just going to spit on it so it make it muddy and then it'll be harder so it won't be dusty. And it's like, you don't know first aid. Like, you really don't know how to apply first aid. You really don't know the first step to first aid, i.e., find a first aid kit.
Yes, but Hassan, in that illustration, dirt will actually work to stop the bleeding, though. But it will if you don't
It might
like go back
infect it
and
though.
yeah,
It's
it will
killing me
infect
there.
it. But if you don't got nothing else
Well, that's
around, you
the
can put a little
problem.
dirt on it.
The
That's the
problem
point
is
I'm making. The
you're
infection.
risking
Yeah.
infection.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point that I'm making. And I'm recognizing that if we do recognize that there is, on a large scale, there is an issue, there is a cut, right? Cool. What I think we need to begin doing is to really, humble ourselves. If that's not a word, if that's a word you're not afraid of, humble ourselves and go, okay, what is a first aid kit? I.e., what is civil procedure? What are the court rules? How is this used in procedure? What does a writ mean? What is a writ of mandamus? What is a motion? I don't think people are doing that. People just like, oh shit, I'm cut. Mandamus, writ, motion, proposed order. Like, huh? Like, that's just what's happening.
That's because most newbies are told mythology like authenticating their birth certificate and other things to correct your status is the is where the remedy is.
Right.
And most newbies are actually discouraged. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember being discouraged, but from reading the court rules, the court procedures, and the rules of civil procedure.
Can we just use a correct white? No, I'm just kidding.
Have you guys actually actively been discouraged? Have you been with communities or listened to people who say to not read the rules of court, the rules of civil procedure, the rules of evidence?
They don't even mention it at times.
Well, that's one way to act like it's not important, not mentioning it. But also, have we been actively told to ignore those things or deterred from reading those things because those are not our rules and that's not relevant to our remedy?
Yeah, that's really tough. And I think in the most like I just, I had to take a phone call real quick and I was speaking with one of my sisters and I found myself saying out loud and of course, they received it. I'm like, you really need to be thinking PMA. And I'm not going to go deep because, like I know, sis, there's a time that's going to be gone in on exhaustively and ad nauseum. But like when I brought that to our attention and basically said, like, everything Bill of Right one that you're talking, you can do it within that. It's like, um, you never die, right? Your spirit is always your spirit, right? But you have to put on an exoskeleton called a soul, and then that soul's got to put on an exoskeleton called a body, right? So yes, you're all correct. All you guys, no matter what your religion is, you're absolutely correct about what you stand for, what your tenets are. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong because I know that you're right. The problem is 9 times out of 10, you're expressing what you want to do as far as your Bill of Right one protection of your religion outside of some meat suit that's needed for it to be done in. Does that make sense? That meat suit is a person. And most people are out here trying to get what they need without a person. You're like a soul without a body when you're expressing your rights outside of a person. Does that make sense? Did I say that right? I'm open for correction. No, I'm serious. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm so open for correction.
It's all about what's material to the accusations and what we might think is material to those accusations are not necessarily relevant to the remedy based on those accusations. So, for example, if we're being accused of speeding or what they call exceeding the speed limit, that is not an attack at your religious expression. You probably are not going to say that you were going 80 in a 30 because you were worshiping in your religion. Is that
Oh, maybe I was. I got the need for speed.
maybe you might be able to argue that the Holy Ghost or Allah or somebody gave you instruction, and maybe in those narrow circumstances you might be able to get away with that, but in general it's not an attack on your religious expression. And that's why when things are said that seem to pertain to your religious expression or your ethnicity or your other status, standing, and position, it's irrelevant if what they're accusing you of is exceeding a speed limit. That's an example. Does that make sense? Does that example make sense to you guys? Right.
Word.
Similar to when it's a traffic ticket again, for example, and we start talking about the UCC. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Right.
We're
Yeah.
told that if it's a traffic ticket, it's related to the UCC. Anybody ever heard that before?
Yeah, I always reverse engineer how I got here before I used to hear all this stuff. And now I think and go, how do these people keep doing this to people?
It's what Mark said about us being desperate, so we're listening with our desperation ears. Anybody ever guilty of that? Type guilty if you're guilty of that, even if whether you're on YouTube or TikTok or Zoom. You guilty? You guilty of listening with your desperate ears? Your desperation ears?
The
Type
best thing
guilty.
this tribe has done for me was how complicated the gurus were making it. And then you come here and the simplicity is just common sense, but it must not be that common. But it just makes so much sense.
When you are desperate, it's not related to your intelligence or your common sense. What I've realized. When you are desperate, it does not speak to your level of intelligence. Who knows what I'm saying? It doesn't speak to your level of intelligence at all. When you are listening with your desperate ears, when you're
Yeah, that's
listening
one of the
through your emotions, okay? It is
that's
not
one
a
of the
reflection of your intelligence. Go ahead, Nana.
I was gonna say that's one of the main reasons I speak on unlearning something to learn something. Because if you're stuck in a certain cycle, you only know what you've learned. But there's more to it than you can actually depict by knowing the right or where to go to learn it again in the right way.
Every day, every week, we get at least one consultation where someone says, but I gave them an instrument. And they're trying to explain to us like we don't know what the instruments are. Like we're the ones who are deficient in our comprehension of this mythology about giving an instrument.
You know what I related to? I related to like they used to have a organization called Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus. You knew you were buying a ticket to the three ring circus or carnival or sideshow, but you still wanted to be thrilled and chilled and everything. That's the way I relate this. And that's what people are looking to be shocked and awed and just go, and they buy into it and go, oh, this must be right. Why? Because it's thrilling.
And it's crazy how they took the animals out of the circus and still put the circus on.
The circus is at the White House, by the way,
Well, our
with the
our
Grand Master.
favorite, it seems to be people's favorite form of enslavement is other people. That's our favorite. That's our favorite form.
Okay, to that. Okay, so, man, these emotional outbursts are flowing. So forgive me, y'all. That right there. Okay, with that, and there are many of you here, right, that know exactly what I'm talking about. When you came across this lifestyle, 9 times out of 10, what you were, man, I'm just gonna fucking say it. So forgive me, whoever gets offended. What was said by some of our well-respected elders. It wasn't said directly this way, but I'm going to say what it is. Abandon your consumer protections and then find out that you didn't need to abandon it. Now you learned the lesson, right? Now you know to go and research the shit. You learned the hard way. Now you gonna stop listening to me. Now you gonna stop following me. You gonna do what you're supposed to do now that you learned the hard way. Is that it? Did y'all get that? Am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Bro,
You're not
bro,
wrong at
you're
all.
wrong. All I have to do is get $2 stamps, okay?
And a
And
thumbprint.
put them on my document. What was that, Nana?
And a thumbprint.
And the thumbprint, Hassan.
Stamps, Malika, 2-cent stamps.
Think
Oh,
about how
2-cent stamps? Or is it 2 cents and then $1? Is it $1 too? I'm not, is it $1, 2 cents? I'm not.
There's the $5 ones too. Don't forget
All I
those.
realized was they were for postage.
It's
the
any
most
value
money
at this
order that's
point.
not gold.
They got $5 stamps too now.
It's all I know is I learned that they're for postage. That's what they're for. That's the only thing they're for is for
Yes.
postage.
People will be telling me, will be like, Malika, so you're saying it's not all about taxes? It's not all, but my guru told me it was all about taxes.
it's all about your data elements. to me, don't
Yes, it
take this
is.
as the gospel. To me, and I'm glad you're agreeing, and whoever else agrees, thank you. To me, it's your data elements. And when you cast from your hands or your mouth your data elements to be recorded somewhere else, at that point is when one should be vigilant in reaching for the first aid kit called consumer protection, because somebody's going to try to maybe sell it, share it. It's supposed to be protected, but it gets breached. But the whole time, and again, this is an emotional outburst, pardon the extension of it. But what I'm recognizing and realizing is either well-respected elders knew this, or our generation is the guinea pigs to see if it works.
Ay, ay, ay.
And what we
So,
found out is it does work. However, a lot of the things that were shared prior to us finding out that it works, we didn't even have to fucking go through. They were just lessons for us to be built up in our spirit so that when we take our place amongst the affairs of men and interact with the rest of society, we are acting like we have some good fucking sense.
so one of our other friends-in-law brought that up a few months ago when I forgot what the topic was, but it was Rich Man when he was like, so basically as soon as we hand them our driver license, aka those data elements, that's when the games begin.
The application for the driver's license.
No, he was saying like when you go to get a car, for example, right?
Oh, okay.
Or an apartment, and they ask you, right? They ask you for your data elements, right?
Got you. Yeah.
Everybody follow me? Typically, what we give them is that driver license, yes?
Correct.
For whatever the transaction is, whether we want to get an apartment, y'all know what I'm saying?
Bank
We want to
account.
get a bank account, right?
Yeah.
They ask you for those data elements, and we usually give it to them in the form of driver license. So that's when Rich Man was like, so basically, as soon as we hand them, what he's basically saying is what Hassan said, right? The data elements, as soon as we hand them those data elements, which typically is in the form of a driver license or other state ID, which has the same information, right? The only state I've ever gotten on a driver license in is Florida, and in Florida, your driver license number and your state ID number is the same number. It's the same thing. So this is like what Hassan just said too, and what Rich Man said. The games begin as soon. Yes, you have to get the application for the other ID, and at that point, they're just taking your word for it, really.
So that makes me think the consumer that's being protected is not the you inside of you that you know yourself to be when it's dark, nobody's in the room, you're buck naked. Forgive me for using that expression, but I mean where you're alone, there's no business happening. That's not the consumer. The consumer is that which is representative of or represented by those data elements, the person.
Yes.
That personage is the consumer. And I think if we rehabilitate from the haunted house Rocky Horror Picture Show kind of perspective of government and things of that nature.
No. Once you use data elements, bro, you are an American citizen slave.
Oh.
Or once you use those data elements, you can go gadget constitutional enforcement, which is invested in you. You've been invested with constitutional enforcement. So that means why not know how to dispute when people are outside of constitutionality, not the Constitution outside of constitutionality. I mean, outside of the structure of respecting my data elements.
Look, newbies, do y'all hear this sense this man is making? Your gurus are gonna tell you, no, make a trust. Put your data elements in there.
Hey, yo, that shit was never necessary. I'm not saying that they can't do that.
It's just not necessary, right?
It's not foundational. The
It's
foundational
not
thing.
required. It's not necessarily relevant.
No.
And you could just be chasing your tail doing those things when you really need to be doing these other things over here.
Maybe just
Correct.
be the first little piggy.
It makes me think of the movie Vanilla Skies. And in Vanilla Skies, most people will look at it like, oh, that's a boring movie. It was weird. I don't get it. But in Vanilla Skies, my favorite part is when Tom Cruise's character is crying for tech support. He's yelling for tech support, right? And the reason, and to me, that's a consumer dispute. That's a consumer protection dispute because life wasn't going the way he wanted it to. And since it wasn't, he needed tech support. And the technical support in your life, because it's okay, it is a business for these people to take your data elements because they're banking on it being a minimal amount of beings who will assert their consumer protections. So back to the, is it illegal to be the devil? The answer is no. It's illegal once you point out the devil's business is encroaching upon your life. That's what's illegal. Being the devil is fine. Go be the devil. Enjoy yourself. But don't fuck with my data elements because once you do, then I got to put a pitchfork in your ass. Pause. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what we got to do. That's where no, let me not say it like that. That's what my opinion is to share on Newbie Tuesday. Let me say it like that.
Gratitude.
Indeed, Islam. Gratitude.
Yes, lawful. Thank you for reminding us, Freedom. Lawful Living will not inbox you. I will not solicit services. I will not offer you anything in your inbox. I will probably not even open up your DM on TikTok. I've realized that that's dangerous. So if you wish to reach me, it's best to do so through official channels. You can reach out to any one of my colleagues, Hassan, Linnea, Trading Brigade, Samaya, anybody, any of my colleagues. You can also reach support at lawfulliving.com or support at freedomfromgovernment.org. Do not think that you're going to send a message to either the real Malika or the fake Malika on TikTok and get a proper response from Malika. Someone says Linnea is AI. No, she's not.
I might be. Hello.
Y'all hilarious.
Post your AI created of Lawful Living of Newbie Tuesday guide again one more time, please. And if it can be posted here on TikTok and if it can be posted on YouTube, please, guys, do us a favor and get it shared so everybody can get access to that document.
Yeah, I don't think the links are posted in the YouTube. Truth Seeker had asked over there, and I was like, no, I don't see the links. So it's just
okay. I posted some in YouTube too. I didn't know if y'all could see it or not.
Okay, is it just that it's not showing up in the chat?
Yeah, I don't think it's showing in the chat. I don't see it. Let me double check.
So no, I can see my link on my end, but I guess they disable showing links on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know if it's disabled on my side or if it's disabled on YouTube side. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
Maybe what we'll do is if it's not here in the chat, we'll put it in the description of the video. Okay.
Yeah, that works too.
That'll be there for our YouTube folks. I think I could actually put it in the description prior to launching, so you guys will always have access to it. So we'll try that the next time we're live co-broadcasting to YouTube. Someone says Hassan is AI. LOL. Love it. If you've not been accused of being AI, maybe your intelligence is not as high as you think.
Hello?
All right.
All right. So let's go with our next question. Michelle B., go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst.
Hi, I'm new to the community, so I put on my camera so y'all can see me. I'm a real person. I'm not AI. And I'm going to turn it off. But I'm unmuted though. So Aza kind of introduced me earlier, and I met her down on the first floor down at the Supreme Court in Brooklyn, and I was there to get in my paperwork just so I can file my complaint, so I can hold my time. If I've learned the most important thing that I've learned being self-represented is, you got to get those deadlines, the statute of limitations and that sort of thing. And even if you just get it in and try to, figure it out as you go along, at least you got it in, because the door is closed on you if you don't, meet that time deadline. So when I met her, that's what I was doing. And I was trying to get my complaint in and, trying to get help, at the help desk. And then she told me about this community. And, now I know that, you mentioned that the community has been around since 2019. And that was my first foray into the pro se world. And I came to that world because I couldn't find a lawyer. And even if I could find a capable lawyer that could practice in the area that I needed help or that was knowledgeable, I couldn't afford the lawyer. So
what issue are you having?
Did she say knowledgeable and lawyer?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have knowledgeable lawyers out there. Now, what they're knowledgeable in is
Right.
a different discussion, but there's some
Yeah.
knowledgeable lawyers out there, and there's some very knowledgeable lawyers out there. And for certain, the type that we might wish for are not within most of our reach financially.
Yeah. So that was a big
What's
revelation.
your issue, Michelle?
Well, this go round, my issue is it's a civil matter, and it's a defamation matter, and it has
Okay.
to do with a government agency, right? So and there's a 1 year statute of limitations. So I had to get it in within a few days, and I'm still not familiar with that area of law, and everything I read about it is scary. It's ultra scary. It seems to be more scary.
Why is it scary?
Maybe just simply because I'm not familiar with it. And also, when you try to get consultation with these lawyers, you get nothing. They go dead, they go silent. So there's something in that area of law, which in my brain, I'm thinking that you just have to have a ton of money. And unless you have a ton of money, unless you have a case where, I don't know, you could win a ton of money, they don't really want to, they don't want to be bothered. But I don't know what it is, but I've been rebuffed numerous times by
Wow.
defamation attorneys, but I wouldn't be able to afford it anyway, I don't think. So
Are they telling you that they don't think you have a case, or they just say, yeah, you might have a case, I'll call you back, and then they don't?
they're not, some are saying they'll call me back, and mostly they're not saying anything. So I'm left to wonder, what is this all about? I still don't know. I still don't understand. I let them know I have a good case, right? I have a good case, but I don't know what it is, I have a lot of facts behind my case because I do a lot of FOIAs, right?
Okay.
So I have a lot of facts, and I have, people in writing, I have emails, I have text messages. The only thing that they haven't given up, the agency has not given up the phone calls.
Well,
So
I like that you're saying that you have facts, because what some people say is they call their facts evidence, and facts do not become evidence automatically.
no.
Does everybody
No.
understand that, for my newbies? Facts do not automatically become evidence. Even after you file it, it does not become evidence. So let me know if you've known that. Put a 1 in the chat. If you are today years old when you learned that, put a 2 in the chat. Facts do not become evidence upon filing. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you knew that, a 2 in the chat if you're today years old when you learned that. And it's okay, because we're newbies today. We're newbies today. Okay, facts do not become evidence just because you filed them with your complaint or with your answer. And for more on that, I highly recommend you guys go and sign up to take Trading Brigade's class, aka Queen, on factual assertions and admissible evidence. So someone please put a link to that in the chat. Again, in all places, TikTok, Zoom and YouTube, if you will. Okay, Ty says he's watching that class for the third time. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Okay, Michelle, so what's your newbie question or comment or emotional outburst, or were you just saying hello?
Well, I was kind of just saying hello and just, introducing myself, letting you all
Okay.
know that I'm here. And I also want to just let you know where I am at this stage of the game. And at this stage of the game, I think I've preserved, the deadline. And I got my complaints in, and I have 3 months to serve, is my understanding. And in that time, I can amend my complaint. So that's kind of where I am now. I got
Michelle, it sounds like
120
you're reading
days
the
to,
rules. It sounds like you're reading the rules of court and stuff.
well, you know what? I learned by doing very constructively. My
Okay.
previous case, I didn't read the rules, so I got thrown off the calendar. And then I went back and I read the rules. I was afraid to read the rules, but I went back and I read the
You were
rules.
afraid to read the
Yeah,
rules. You gotta tell me a
yeah.
little bit more. Why were you afraid to read the rules?
It's just a lot. It's just an intimidating atmosphere, all the words and all the jargon and all. But if you can get past your fear, you start to read, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is elementary. This makes sense, you know?
What?
So for me, yeah, yeah. So once I read the rules, and I was freaking out. I thought it was the end of the world that my case got thrown off the calendar and I was out of court. And I thought that meant my case was over. But once you go back and read the rules, you learn differently. And I was able to get my case back on the calendar. And I was able to see my case through to the end. And yeah, the rules, the rules are pretty amazing, pretty important. And they're not that scary. They're not that scary. So my first experience, yeah, I was able to get through with the rules, and I learned, right? So I learned that, listen, that you can amend your complaint, right? There's a lot of things you can do. But I think where I am now is, since this is a new area for me that I'm not familiar with at all, I'm having to I'm very I have so many facts that there's something there. I know there's something there, but it's just
Right.
to organize these facts and
Yeah.
get my complaint to the place where I can get past the motion to dismiss. And hopefully, if I could get to discovery and try to get some evidence, I don't know. I don't know.
Yes.
Then, so
That
I'm just
that's
taking it
that's
one
the
step at a
procedural
time.
roadmap, sister. That's the procedural roadmap to have survived the emotion 12B.
Word.
That's the procedural roadmap to at least provide the facts in a manner that will allow you to use the tools of discovery, the notice to admit with your special and contention interrogatories to at least further unearth the discovery
Yeah,
to move for some summary judgment.
I'm
I
hoping that I
like what
get
you're
that
saying.
far. I'm hoping that I get that far, but also the intimidating factor is also that I'm dealing with a whole government agency, a whole city agency.
So
And, I was able to get my notice of claim in also. I learned that from, from the past. If you don't have that notice of claim in 90 days, you're dead in the water.
Do y'all
You
hear
don't have
that?
a
Do y'all
chance.
hear that?
yeah.
Yeah,
Do
I
y'all
love it.
hear that? This is
I
one of the
love it.
best newbie testimonials I've ever heard.
Yes.
I have to question if this is our first day here.
This is my second day. I was here the last time,
Third.
as last week. Last week, yeah.
You're saying
Last
all
week.
kind of advanced stuff. Awesome.
Oh, great!
Definitely.
I hope that portends well for this go
Yes,
round for me.
it is so much easier to help someone who has internalized what she just shared. The rules
Exactly.
are very important. I was thinking about what Hassan said earlier.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Like, you gotta get. What is this? What is that?
I,
Yeah, give
I,
it to
I,
me.
want, I want I want to help you, sister.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to avail myself to any help because let me tell you.
Look, reach out to Trading Brigade right now so you guys can connect.
Okay,
And in
great.
that same spirit, I've been saying it quite a while, and I'm going to be keeping a next session, and the date in specificity will be on August 1st, and it's called Court Rules and Procedures. In its
Word.
simplest of form, court rules and procedures. Where I'm promising you guys that I'm wrapping it up for you guys. Okay.
Word.
I'm wrapping it up for you guys. A visual procedural roadmap of the tools that are available and how to correctly utilize those tools. Again, I will be sharing more information in a short space of time within a few days, but it will be court rules and procedures.
And I do not object.
I put it to you that you have no objection, no relevant objection. But yeah, lock that date in the actual
Yes, August
first
1st,
day in
guys.
August.
August 1st. Write it down, put it in your calendar. Queen's class.
Great.
Yep.
And can I share from something that I took away from last week's session?
Absolutely.
One thing that I mean, just when you're doing your own case, right? See, just the emotions, it's very hard to get
Oh my
beyond
goodness, she's
that.
teaching now. Oh my goodness.
So it's been like a year that now I can deal with this. You know what I'm saying? With some measure of objectivity, right? And the thing that I took away the one thing that I took away last week was even this go round, I was writing so many letters and requests for review and this and that, doing all this stuff. And then, you know, what I heard from you last week was like, they don't have to answer to any of that. You know what I'm saying? I wrote 50 letters and very compelling and all this other stuff. But you know what? When it comes down to it, they're going to have to respond to that complaint, though. See? So all of the time that I was investing, all of the emotional energy and not getting any response and feeling crushed, you know, that's what I took away the last go round. And, you know, I hope I never have to be in court again, ever. But just in case I do, I know I don't, you know, they're not obligated to respond to anything else. I could just go right to step A and that's it. But thank you for this community. I'll be back and I'll be in touch with you all off for consultation or whatever and through the classes. I'm glad I found this community. Thank you so much. And thank
I
you,
just want to say
Aza.
welcome
Thank
to
you.
a seat in the classroom.
Good to be here.
Gratitude. You got
Welcome
some
to
kudos going in the
lifelong learning
comments
with
too.
us.
Word.
You got some kudos in the comments too, Michelle. So you can
Yeah.
go ahead and respond back to those.
Hey man, she spoke right to what I was saying, man, or what we're saying every 7 days, 3 days out of 7 days.
Guys, that is amazing. I know that there's a lot of people that can relate to what she just said. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who quit before they got that breakthrough realization.
Don't remind me.
He hate to hear that.
Don't remind me. Please don't remind me.
That sounds like I feel attacked.
Jesus Christ.
They went jaywalking, they didn't cross at the light.
You got to get to where Michelle is. Who can relate to being at some point along the line that Michelle just shared? Put a 1 in the chat. If you can relate to being at some point. Remember, she talked about the fear. She talked about being intimidated by reading the rules. Some of you are there.
Yeah, I had that experience. Especially like with the water situation, like going back and forth with them. And at first, I was just like, this is going to work because I took the utilities class. And when I tell you I eat the utilities class, I was like, yes, you know. And after like going back it for the third time, I realized that one of the things that I didn't grasp or didn't like differentiate early was state and like county Like when the state owns it, it's completely different from when the county owns it. And the utility cost, I'm not bashing it, so please don't take this as a hit and
I'm
miss at
not.
the cost. But this a lot of the stuff that was mentioned was for the state application. And so being that my particular
Utility.
fortunately or unfortunately, right, was not state regulated, that changed the game completely. But I was grateful because I had the support from the team. And then training brigade took the extra time to like handhold me as he took me out of kindergarten. And I hopefully he's in first grade now. So
moving on up.
but
A lot of the
really
hard
hard
things to
because
deal
like
with
I
is
looked through all the stuff and I was like going through step by step, like just watching the class. I took the notes. I went look for the state application immediately, try to find it, read on it, do everything. And then when the people were responding, it was just like the attorney general is saying, "Hey, sorry, thank you for reaching out, but we can't help you." The other person's responding, "Hey, I share your sentiment, but we can't help you." I felt like, what did I do wrong? Like, why are all these people saying, like, like they want to give me a tap on the back? Because, like, here it is that they're responding, right? They're not just like reading it and like, oh, this girl doesn't really know what she's talking about. Like they're responding, and in their letter, you can hear like, yeah, you kind of onto something, but like you ain't really seen the outcome that you want. You know what I'm saying? And so I just keep pushing, and then finally, when I got the docket email, I was like so happy. I mean, it's just like just
You
to
were
get on
so
the docket,
happy. Because
that means like you finally got it right.
Yeah.
So I just
Most roads lead to court. And that's what a lot of internet gurus don't want to have you know. And it's typically because they don't know how to deal with court. Did you guys realize that? A lot of these
I do
internet
want to
gurus,
say
they
thank
do
you to
not.
the mayor for pointing out the declaratory statement, because with the declaratory statement, even though you could end up in court, like the filing process doesn't require money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was helpful, especially because of the situation that I'm in.
Gratitude for sharing.
What I'm recognizing about this fear thing is that it all ends the same way. The fear comes to a crescendo, some like crest or climax, and then eventually what happens is that facing of that fear, and then you recognize that whatever you was fearing, you wasted a lot of time and energy fearing something that didn't need it to be feared. I.e., I still haven't read the story where Goliath beats David. That's the point I'm making.
But remember, there's this acronym for the word fear, and it literally says it's false evidence appearing real. Just think about that in the space of admissibility of
But my
evidence.
feelings are real. My feelings are real.
But again, like I'm saying, instead of filing motions based on emotions, you file motions based on rules, facts, sworn statements. The fear, false evidence appearing real. Whatever it is that they're saying, it's only because you might not be vested with proper knowledge to recognize the form in which the court requires evidence in its admissibility, to recognize that it's not evidence, so there's no need to be fearful.
I think you hit it right on the head there. The lack of knowledge is what fuels the fear.
Yes.
We feel inadequate. We don't know what to do.
Because the fear again is false evidence appearing real.
And when we're in fear, it actually blocks our comprehension. We're going to be looking at the rules and our eyeballs are going to be wiggling around. Anybody can relate?
There is no comprehension.
Yep, absolutely. And
Our
I think
mind
this
is so narrowed that the words that we know the letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, F, G, we're seeing them together. A, the lazy dog jumped over the cow, whatever.
Word.
No comprehension whatsoever because of the emotion. because of the fear, because of the knowing that we don't have knowledge in that area.
I used to
And
open mail that way.
the more our knowledge in that area increases, is the more the fear decreases. So the increase of knowledge and knowing gives the confidence that diminishes and dispels fear. And sometimes we just need to hold each other's hands long enough so that we could breathe.
Oh, absolutely. This is why I think at some point we're going to have I'll call it a calm your nerves class to talk about. I mean, we have the law and the knowledge
Yeah,
on one side,
mindset
but
maybe, right?
right, mindset and how to leverage the things in your body to help calm your nerves, because you can't override your physical body. You got to deal with it. If your stomach is in knots, you got to deal with that in order to be able to think clearly. So yeah.
I used to open mail that way. Open the mail, read the first line, and just put it down and be like, "Let me get myself together." Give it give it some time to get your emotions, and then sit down and be like, "Okay, let me read this, regardless of how hard it is, regardless of what it's going to say, if I fear it or not." And now I'm to the point where, what's next?
Tear it open.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
we used to be scared of the bold print and the underlines.
I think that fear that the attorneys know more than us, know better than us, they're more intelligent than us, or that they're always in cahoots with the judge and they're all corrupt and they're, those types of stories that we tell ourselves also lead into that fear. And
because I wanted to ask, who told us so? Before you mentioned who told us so.
Yeah, I think it's just regulated.
A lot of times the gurus are telling people this. So that's a good thing. And sometimes we misinterpret our reality, and then nobody could tell us different. It's like the guy who came on live. I know some of you guys might remember a few months back where the court found him incompetent and that his case was moot. And he thought that was a win because he be feeling like the Kang when he walked through.
Right.
Sometimes we base our fear off of what we learn from others and how they respond to things that could be similar to what we're going through as well.
Well, there are people who say things like that they just do whatever they want. It doesn't matter what I file, but they were also stuck in that loop Michelle just described where you sent out 50 letters to the wrong people, but you spent so much time, talent, right? Money, energy in doing those 50 unnecessary steps that you really feel like you did something and that they really are ignoring you, when in fact a mental shift would be like, why don't I use the mechanisms that trigger their duty to respond instead of me just sending out 50 letters and thinking maybe volume is what's going to make them be compelled to respond. Do y'all see the difference?
You got to say that again, yo. That's a bar right there. Trigger their duties to respond. That right there is huge.
Yes. And this is what I hear when you're saying consumer protection. Because just like you can't use the UCC to get rid of a traffic ticket, you probably should use consumer protection, especially if you're going after somebody for misusing your data. Because even if you might want to say that in some capacity you were not acting as a person or whatever, in whatever transaction that you did that led to them getting your data elements, you were in the consumer position. So you might want to use that, okay? Just like, again, you want to talk about the traffic laws when it's traffic tickets, okay? You want to read the toll laws when it's a toll issue. Does that make sense? You don't want to be like, well, it's my constitutional rights to park wherever I want, so I'm going to go after them under the Fifth Amendment. You just can't. You can just make up whatever you want and think that that's what's going to help you, but you may be wrong, because in this situation here, these are the rules you have to use, and in this other situation here, these are the rules you have to use. Does that make sense, guys?
So you can't travel playing football with a with the rugby ball.
Don't bounce the football, right?
Yes.
Don't bounce the football on the floor.
That's
right?
really how simple this all
When
is.
it's supposed to be basketball that you bounce the ball. Does that make
I mean, it's just
you can't just
it's
be like,
that
I'm an
simple.
athlete. This is a ball. I'm going to do whatever I want. Because if you put your hands on a soccer ball, you're out. Anybody know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And when we don't have knowledge, so we don't evaluate our situation, we don't know how to evaluate our situation, we don't know what remedy looks like. So when these gurus are saying, oh, you want to be the credit card bill? Don't worry about consumer protection, Hassan. Use the traffic code.
Yeah, I always eat soup with a fork.
That's all we're saying, newbies. All right, Aza, go ahead with your newbie question, comment, or emotional outburst. And while we're waiting on Aza to unmute, if she doesn't know it's her turn, you guys can go ahead and share the Newbie Tuesday guide again here on TikTok. And if we have any of our friends-in-law on YouTube that has figured out how to get through, if not, again, we're going to put it in the description. Or if you're here on TikTok, let us know. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you follow your host. If you want to get in on our Zoom, just scan right here and join us. We appreciate you tapping it out, sending your gifts. And it doesn't seem like Aza is aware that it's her turn, so we're going to come back around. Linnea, go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst, AI.
Yeah. I came to share something cool that I learned from the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles.
Okay.
Okay. So I learned that that there is a lot of power in these declaratory statements that you can ask the state for. And according to the department, they said that they've only received 5 petitions for declaratory statements since 2020. 5.
Do y'all hear that? Say that again.
Only
Wow.
5 declaratory statement petitions since 2020.
Do y'all,
Now.
and
Crazy.
I wonder if all 5 is from people in our community.
That's not
You
even
all
one
need to
per
give them one.
year.
Less than 1 per year. My
I
daughter
think
just
those are
said.
rookie numbers. We need to pump those numbers up. So if you're in Florida,
Can I tell
it done.
y'all, this is exactly, there was a young lady named Paige L. Do you remember her, Hassan?
Yes, I do.
She, on a consultation, pulled up the stats about tort claims in general, and it's very similar. Like, less than 1 per day filed, guys, in the entire states. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Maybe 2 or 3 per day. And people are saying, I've never heard of a tort claim. I've never heard of a declaratory action. I've never heard of a declaratory statement. I've never heard of declaratory orders until I got to lawful living. Why? Because people want to sell y'all, oh, you got a traffic ticket? We're going to talk to you about something about your birth certificate or something about your nationality. What the hell? That's like Hassan said, I always eat soup with a fork. And it ain't even pho with some rice noodles in it.
Exactly.
This is what's happening. They want you to do something about creating a trust. Okay? This is what most people will say. Then they want to tell you, go to arbitration. Anybody ever heard that? Go to arbitration.
Yeah.
Don't handle it in court. Go to arbitration. Anybody?
Yes.
Put
Yeah.
arbitration. If you even know how to spell arbitration, put arbitration in the chat, TikTok. Veronica says, I was lawful living years old when I learned all this stuff too.
So is it always better to opt out of arbitration with these contracts?
What are you talking about? Opt out. It's not about opting out. Whether you go to court or you go to arbitration depends on your cause of action.
Gotcha.
They try to make it seem like, well, there's an arbitration clause here. But when it's for non-payment, they drag us in court. Yes or no? When it's for non-payment, don't they? If it's for, they drag us into court. So Do you guys think it's because they don't know that the contract says blah, blah, blah about arbitration, or is that a trap for you?
I think it's only for the clause. They have an arbitration clause which cover this amount of stuff, but you can always go outside of it just like they can.
But people would want us to think that arbitration is the magic. Then they start talking something about subrogation. And every time you guys bring that up in a consultation, I act like it's the first time I ever heard this shit in my life. Oh, really? Subrogation. Tell me what you know about that. Well, I heard that's how it always starts off. And here at Lawful Living, even though it's Newbie Tuesday, when we're questioned about our knowledge and we begin to reply with I heard or someone told me, what should we do? When we're questioned about our knowledge and we begin our response with I heard or someone told me, what should we do?
Give myself one of the finest of slaps.
Right across your own face. When someone questions you about your knowledge and you begin it, the words start to formulate in your mind, beginning with I heard or someone told me. Okay? Just rub your hands together and slap yourself, your own self. Because when you're questioned about your knowledge, and this is why everybody needs to take Trading Brigade's class, factual assertions and admissible evidence, I heard is what?
Admissible evidence.
Somebody told me is what?
Hearsay.
Hearsay.
I'm sorry, hearsay. My bad. I'm sorry.
Hearsay. And we don't play that over here. Homie, don't play that. Slap. Someone is questioning
Everything
you
alleged until it's proven
about your knowledge. They're not questioning you about someone else's knowledge. They're questioning you about your knowledge. And what bubbles up in your mouth, what comes to mind is I heard or someone told me. Slap yourself. And then go actually find out. We were on someone's live session. True North was in here. And someone starts to tell us about some guru who they heard doing some magical process. And I only had one question. How did you verify anything they said? Well, I didn't. I just believe. What? Why would we repeat someone's alleged success when we can't point to a receipt that we could go to a court docket and verify? We don't have no way of verifying it. This is one of the reasons that I started blurring out people's name, just so it's not just out there for people who don't even want to look. But since the case is on the public docket, I'm going to leave the case number. If you're curious enough to go look it up, you'll see what's on the public docket. You'll see the full name. You'll see the dismissal. Because guess what? We have people out here in these internet streets that are fudging receipts, guys. They're fudging the case number a little bit and or you leaving a real case number with somebody else's name because they know that most people aren't going to go check and most people are going to just repeat the alleged win like it's something that they could even verify, did even verify. Y'all got Dollar General out here giving us fake receipts. Everybody needs to remind him every time you see him. I heard he's not even getting on live on TT anymore. That would be great if it's true. But you know there was some blocking going on, so I don't know. But these are the types of people that need to be exposed. These are the types of things, the receipt stealing, the receipt fudging. But most of us are not checking for receipts. This is why somebody who's been finessing and 3-card Montying people for just as long as Lawful Living has been around, for real, like 6-7 years plus, okay? They've been finessing people. And only because over here at Lawful Living, we encourage people to request and examine receipts. Now, the people fudging receipts or the people unwilling, I'll say, and they're unwilling to show receipts because they are unable to show receipts. Somebody type receipts in the chat, especially here on TikTok and on YouTube. Let us know we're engaged. Type receipts if you can spell receipts properly. I don't always spell receipts properly. Sometimes I spell it wrong, but I got receipts. I have them, even though I might spell the word receipt wrong. Okay, our team has them, our community has them, and what gets even better is people who have learned how to remove emotion and properly analyze their and audit their situation. They have the competence and confidence to help a friend, a family member, a neighbor. There's some people in here right now that we met because I was sharing about people sharing fake receipts, fudged receipts, or not being willing to share receipts because, of course, they don't have them at all. At all. They don't have them. And it's taking us a year, 2 years, 5 years, 7 years to say, hey, gaslighting guru, I've been sharing out your videos. I've been sharing about your alleged stories of wins. But you know what I haven't seen? A singular receipt that anything you talk about over there has produced remedy that can be duplicated, especially because that's when it becomes a science. Does everybody know that? It is not science unless it's duplicatable. Type duplicatable if you heard what I said. It is not science unless it is duplicatable. That's when it becomes a science.
If I may, sis, add right there, to Camelback, if I may, off of that yearly statistic.
Yes.
Right, as far as those tort claims. And then I like to add in 2025, there was 9,025 consumer complaints in America.
No.
9,025 in the year 2025. So I think, and I would like to propose on this Newbie Tuesday, that
I wonder still how many of those are just what percent of those is from our community?
That would be,
even if it's just 10%, that's way too many from just our community because there's so many other people.
So what I'm thinking, let's replace the quote unquote they're corrupt with there's not enough competent pro se disputes being filed. That's the problem.
It.
The problem
That's
isn't
it.
the court. The problem isn't the attorneys. It's not the clerk. It's not the judge. The issue is there are not enough pro se litigants competently disputing in those civil forums.
So you're saying
courts.
I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh yeah, it's very relevant.
It's absolutely relevant.
Change his ways.
Might I just add, I wasn't competent when I started, but I still pushed through.
Exactly.
Well, nobody's competent when they started. Think about when babies learn to walk. They didn't just start walking because they were already walking.
Right.
You know, they had to decide to do, and then all the mamas and papas know what I'm talking about. You know, 1 week they're teeter-tottering, the next month you are literally full sprinting trying to catch them from
Right, building a plane while they're flying it. They don't care.
Building barriers so they don't hurt themselves.
Nobody starts competent. I tell you guys the story about me having that knot in my stomach, and when Linnea said it, I could relate to that knot. I remember snuggling up next to my husband, like, I don't know what to do. He's trusting me to know what to do. He's sleeping soundly. I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do. We were in Texas, okay, about to be evicted. And since then, not only have we been able to assist people in beating foreclosure, but even right where we were foreclosed on, the same county, everything, the same courtroom, everything. We help people beat foreclosures. Okay? So I didn't begin competent. I mean, not in what to do, right? And exactly how to do it. But what I will say to all my newbies, there is some life experience that you do have. Some life experience, some skill that you do have, life experience or skill that you do have, especially if it's things like asking questions and reading comprehension. There is some skill, okay, problem solving, that you can apply to this area, even though it feels new, so that you don't feel so very new. Are you new to reading comprehension? Are you new to logical thinking? Are you new to asking questions? For some of us, the answer is yes. There are a lot of us that are people pleasers. Put people pleaser in the chat. If you are that type of person, you're a people pleaser, so you don't ask any questions. There's some of us, we're not people pleaser, and we will why you? You gotta ask my daddy. He's like, come on, girl, we're going to the library. Come on. You asked why 3 times? You're going to read some stuff, okay? But there's some people who are people pleasers. They don't want to ask why. It makes them feel more comfortable to assume why, and then they just start acting, and then they're probably acting against their best interest and in the best interest of their opposing party, because instead of asking a question to the opposing party, they make an assumption and then start doing. Liv says, I'm working on my discernment. Good. Ask questions is the best way, in my opinion, to work on your discernment. Did I hear you correctly when you said blah, blah, blah? Allow that other person to be like, oh, no, what I meant to say was whatever.
And I think to even get to that place to ask questions, you have to first be curious. You can't be angry. You can't be scared. You have to just be curious. And from there, that'll lead you to all the questions that'll get you all your answers.
Be curious and not presumptive. Be curious and not presumptive. Don't attempt to look smart, which means to hurt and to strike, okay? Smart means to strike. Greetings. There goes our non-receipt. Y'all just heard me talking about receipts. Here comes one of our friends-in-law that it has a non-receipt win. Y'all want, since you're newbies here, I'm going to explain what a non-receipt win is, since he's right here. Okay. Y'all already know what I'm talking about, some of y'all. Okay. So we have a friend-in-law, very relevant to the story that I just told. Beat foreclosure in the same county that we were foreclosed in, that was going to be invited to the same court that we were evicted in, and he beat the foreclosure. They didn't even do the foreclosure sale, but we don't have a receipt. Why we don't have a receipt? Because when we started sending the proper notices according to the rules that people are afraid of reading, they stopped responding in writing. Y'all heard what I said?
But why?
Because
we don't. Trail.
For F that paper trail. We just gonna call on the phone. They just started calling on the phone. Say what, bro?
This call is being recorded.
Here's the problem with the recorded call. And I don't knock skeptics, okay? I encourage all of you guys to increase your skepticism, even if it's with me. Please increase it. I'm not just saying that like increase your skepticism of everybody else. Increase your skepticism, period. Bring it up. Okay? So the reason why I love this story is because we can't show a receipt, and we don't care that we can't show you a receipt, and we don't care if you don't believe us. Okay? But we're going to tell the story anyway. When we started working with this family, they sent in the notices that do trigger a duty to respond. And these fools decided we just gonna start calling on the phone. Because even if it's recorded, could we not still be lying, guys? Be honest. Don't lie just because it's Malika. Could we not just make that recording up? Yes or no? Could we not just be like that?
True, you
I'm
could.
gonna
AI is
call
pretty
you
good.
and we gonna exactly, and I'm just gonna act like I'm citizens servicing, mortgage servicing or whatever, and we're just gonna act on the phone like I told you the foreclosure was canceled. Because if you go and look at the record, a few calls were recorded. We know that, and we listened to them, but only the people in our community, and this is why it's important to join our community. I mean, or not, because go wherever you want, even if it's by yourself. Okay, so they started calling on the phone, even if the calls are recorded. So it's like we're winning, and of course, we're very excited to be winning. But Malik is over here like, we're not gonna have a receipt. We're not actually going to have proof on paper. We're not going to have a we beat the eviction, right? We're not going to have a you win the foreclosure case because it's non-judicial. And if you look at the record, you will still see, look, he's laughing at us. You'll see, are you enjoying your free house, Dad? We don't have a receipt. We don't have a receipt because they started calling on the phone. There will be other people that have that same situation. So they called on the phone to cancel to announce that they canceled the foreclosure sale. They called on the phone. They called on the phone when they could not find after 2 diligent third-party searches, they couldn't find their right to enforce. You made us go check. We have a duty to respond. We're not going to put that in writing. We're just going to call you on the phone. And here I am as a coach. Stop answering the phone. That's why he's laughing. Told him, the whole family, okay? We told the wife, the husband, the kids knew. The kids knew, right, Dad? Tell me, the kids were hearing. If you answer your mom's phone, whatever, dad's phone, and it's the servicer, hang up. Is that you? Is that you, wife? Hey, wife. Look, we got the husband and the wife in the chat on TikTok. I love you guys. Y'all throw some coins so this could be recorded, okay? On TikTok. So the kids knew not to respond. Wife knew, but they could not help themselves because when these people start calling, you know that they're losing. The other thing is they threatened. They actually had an attorney send the letter saying that they're the substitute trustee, and they filed it boldly on the record. That's still on there, or did they remove it? Maybe you guys should put in a notice for it to be removed, or a declaratory action that it should be removed. Get us some receipts that we could brag about in writing form, okay, Mr. and Mrs. instead of laughing at us because they can't show you guys. And I hate having to say, just believe me, and you don't have to believe me because there always going to be enough actual written receipts, okay, for you guys to get more than enough of the idea of what we do over here and why, because we go after the rules that are applicable to your situation. If it is the UCC, if the UCC is applicable, trust me, guys, aren't we going to use it? If the UCC is applicable to the situation, are we not going to use it? I've never said never use the UCC. I just didn't understand why these internet gurus were saying to use it for these things when it's not applicable. Just like when there's a time to use consumer protection, especially when you're on the offense for the misuse of the data that you did give to someone in an alleged consumer transaction. You did give it to somebody, because if you didn't have it and you gave it to nobody, you would not, you wouldn't have to be dealing with it. Yes? I can't believe you guys are in here. Mrs. Necessary Names and unnecessary names are husband and wife, guys. And they changed their names because we kept telling the story and people wanted to follow them and to send them emails and make it seem like you could circumvent getting with their coaches.
Names unnecessary is definitely bro. No, unnecessary names is definitely bro.
Yes,
But
that they said it in the chat. They said that's actually his wife right there, Mrs. Necessary Names. Is his
oh,
wife.
okay, so she started another account.
Yep.
Okay, because I thought because names unnecessary is different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
maybe Mrs. Unnecessary Names should be Mrs. Unnecessary.
Yeah, I know, right?
You guys are funny. So that actually turned his camera on the other day just because people were thinking he was a bot. And I mean, I could understand that, right? Lots of things we share here do seem magical to some people, especially when most of the internet gurus are still trying to tell people that the power is in your self-declarations of your status, your self-declarations of your ethnicity, your self-declarations of UC on UCC ones. It's just very strange. But because it's the message that most people are hearing most often, let me know, guys, is that message of status correction still what is out here the most? If it is, put SPC in the chat. If status correction is still the predominant message being shared out here on these law, education, and study streets. Is SPC stuff still what is primarily, the correct something, make declarations of trust, things like that? Put SPC in the chat. Anywhere on YouTube, even if you're watching it on the recording, put SPC if it's still something about inclusivity. It's still something about we don't belong in their courts. That's on the week. Since it's only Tuesday, y'all already know it started yesterday. Because I don't know if we make it a full week of consultations where somebody doesn't say, I sent an instrument. And I know some of you guys don't like when I ask questions, and I don't care. But when someone tells me I sent them an instrument, my question is, wasn't the first thing you gave them already an instrument? Because if the answer is yes, now you're going to have to justify what's the difference between that first instrument and this alleged second instrument, and why would you send a second instrument if you acknowledge that there was already one? There was already a first one. Make it make sense to your coach what you are doing or thinking about doing. Someone says, I've been lawful living so long, I don't even know. You done with SBC? No, not me. But Miss Necessary Names, I'm sure you are you remember, right? Your experience with the community before they recommended you to lawful living. I shouldn't have spoken bad about them. They might have still been referring me awesome people I could actually help win. Maybe I'll get receipts from them.
Hello, this is Heidi. Did somebody just call me?
Are you talking to us, Heidi?
Yes.
Yeah, we called you like 30 minutes ago, but go ahead with your question,
Oh,
comment,
I'm
or emotional
sorry.
outburst.
I'll tell you why.
No, it's okay. Go ahead and let us know what's going on. Talk now.
Yeah, as if I need more things going on in my life. My car was just booted. I had, just to give a quick history, a few years ago, I went through the whole process with a tort claim, and they said I could go ahead and start a case about it, and I didn't do it in the required time. So because of that, I decided to go ahead and get my vehicle, or my transportation horse, in a different state. And it kind of have avoided everything for the last year and change. But now somehow I guess there was something in judgment and they booted me. And I was just trying to remember because I don't remember, it's been a while, how we deal with boots here. I know that it's illegal, but I don't remember the process. And I thought it might be good to tell the newbies too.
Well, did they leave you a ticket when they booted you or something to contact who booted you or whatever?
Yeah, that's why I wasn't here. I was calling them.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so you just have to follow those clues, right? Evaluate what it is that they're saying and go from there. Who
Well,
can they boot? When can they boot? Why did they boot? What proof did they have? Can you set a hearing? What has to be proven at that hearing? What evidence do they have to bring to prove their standing? If they don't prove it, can you just motion to get the boot removed, etc.? Can you also use the fact that they couldn't prove their side of their case to support damages for the time that you lost for not being able to use your iron horse?
Right, iron horse. That's good. Okay, but in order to even start the process, I think I have to pay to get it off.
Do you? Is that what the process says?
Well, that's what to get it off. That's what they're saying. And if I don't take it off, they're going to tow
I
it.
see that's what they're saying, but what do the rules actually say?
Yeah, because sometimes you can actually go to court and before you even go to the tow yard to get your car and put your discrepancies in with the court in order for them to remove it.
Depending on the rules they're moving under, that will let you know how to get the relief. Is that your only thing? Because again, if you pay, is that the way that you can justify damages? Because that would be the damages. Do you need to show damages in order to do what you need to do against them? Because if you need to show damages, then you may have to pay because that would be the damages.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, loss of the use of the iron horse and things like that. So take whatever they gave you and start your research there. That would always be my recommendation. And I'll give you guys another example. So there's someone claiming to exercise a power that is granted to them by a deed of trust. And to exercise that power, there is what do we want to call it? A conditional clause. There's an if in that clause. So since there was an if in the clause that they're trying to purport that they can exercise, we're using discovery to make sure that they had those prerequisites. Hassan and Queen know what I'm talking about.
Word.
Because again, it goes back to admissible evidence. Evidence in admissibility form.
Factual assertions and admissible evidence. Factual assertions are not themselves admissible evidence. So whenever they're making factual assertions on their citations, tickets, communications, whatever, we have to hold them to strict proof of those elements.
That's where it starts.
Yes. Now it begins. Now it starts.
Rights and duties works hand in hand.
Yes. And they can't exercise rights without also claiming the duties. Was that what you were going to tell us about, Heidi? Or did you have something else to share? Did she get booted?
No, I'm here. Okay. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but I'm a little
but not necessarily on Newbie Tuesday, right?
Yeah, not on Newbie Tuesday. I just thought that would be appropriate because I honestly didn't remember what to do about this situation. And I know there's new information that we're incorporating into things. So you're basically telling me to look up the rules for the New York City Department of Finance, parking and all that stuff and challenge it. And I do think I'm going to have to pay though in order, and I could call that a damage, like you said.
Well, again, make sure that that's what's required and let's assume. That's all I'm saying. Because if it is required, it could still work in your favor because then you get to actually prove damages.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
just
they
make
have
sure
it.
that that's what you have to do.
Scrutinize
It's
the
like it's
duty owed based on the assertions made to ASA or whatsoever is on the instrument. Look at the entire instrument and whatever is being claimed. Look at the duty that is owed with those the claim or those assertions.
yeah. Well, basically, they're telling me that I have judgments on some tickets, and because of those judgments, they're
Yeah, we know what they're
making me
we
pay.
know what they're saying with their fingertips.
Right.
Right? Those are just assertions.
It has to be read with
Because even
some
if they say, "Oh, well, it's based on some judgment," then that means the judgment can be challenged. Are they asserting that the judgment is valid? Do they have proof it's valid? Do they have evidence, admissible evidence that it's valid? Or are they
exactly.
contending that they don't care that it's not valid? Or you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like somebody trying to evict based on a purchase they made from somebody who you beat before in eviction, showing that they didn't have possession.
It's just like this right here. I have it up on screen a few, maybe an hour or so ago, right? And let's briefly take this one under consideration. This is related to a foreclosure case in the state of New York. No, this is actually the certificate of merit because it is the attorney by state law, since the plaintiff is considered to be an out-of-state foreign entity. So the attorney is vested with powers according to the statute to verify the complaint. But along with the verification of the complaint must be lodged a certificate of merit. New York jurisprudence. The attorney is saying here that I am the attorney duly admitted to practice law before the courts of the state of New York. I am a member of the firm here. Right, number 2. This residential foreclosure actions involve a home loan. As such, the term is defined in a real property action proceeding here.
So
The
should I blow
highlighted
my whistle
sections.
now?
Wait. That the highlighted sections, right? I have reviewed the facts of this case and reviewed the pertinent documents, including the mortgage and note or bond underlying the mortgage executed by the defendants, all instruments of assignments, if any, and all instruments of indebtedness, including any modification. Now, this other part here are modification, extension, or consolidation. Number 4. I have consulted about the facts of this case with the following representative of plaintiff. Name,
I'm
title
blowing the
name.
whistle on that one. I'm
Yeah,
blowing the whistle.
yeah,
Number
but
4, I have consulted about the facts. What is
okay.
that, guys?
Allegations.
I have consulted about the facts. What is that?
Pre-filing
It's definitely not
investigation.
it's definitely not
Well,
firsthand
it's
knowledge.
structured to support a pre-filing investigation, but to have consulted with an alleged representative of the plaintiff, and then saying, upon review and consultation, and upon review and consultation, to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief, I certify that there is reasonable basis for the commencement of this action, and that plaintiff is the creditor entitled to enforce. So right here is a conclusory statement. Plaintiff is the creditor entitled to enforce rights under this based upon his review of information or consultation. So it's kind of the same thing as it's a principle, right? Related to the source
Factual
of
assertions.
information. Yes, because
Actual assertion.
does this alone qualifies or proves sufficient enough by admissible evidence that the plaintiff is entitled to enforce the provision of the note, given backstory that the plaintiff here was not the original plaintiff that the initial transaction started out with, so there needs to be even admissible evidence of how they came in possession of the document. But just saying this for argument's sake, how many of us, the heads that it's gone over, not to recognize the mere allegation that the plaintiff is entitled to enforce provisions of a note is not an automatic evidence by right that warrants a court judgment unless upon condition that it's not tested.
All hearsay.
The attorney, this is a certificate of merit, which is
Yeah,
in support of the
all he did was
complaint.
blab,
It is,
blab, blab. This is one of those
yes,
useless filings that we talk
but
about.
but it should not. I wouldn't necessarily construe it as something useless because this
No,
exposed this.
not useless. Like, it's useful against them.
Yeah. Yes.
But if
Very.
we were the ones submitting something like this, like, and calling it a certification of merits, Like you're
Yes.
just saying that I promise what I'm saying is material. But if you are just making conclusory statements, it doesn't actually confirm what you are attempting to. So
According to the rule.
it's basically a frivolous filing from the filer, but it is useful for the defendant.
Because they have a standard higher than just that they think they're doing the right thing. Like they have to actually look into it and make sure that they are in fact doing the right thing.
Yeah, and they're trying to
No.
say that just talking to this person is what confirms
Like
But,
I
that
thought I was
and
doing
knowledge,
right.
this person,
information, and defeat.
there is no proof on the record whether or not this person is a default specialist as much as an employee of the representative.
Yeah, because they
Right?
just say representative. They don't say what kind. They don't say if it's the president or if it's a someone vested with authority to represent or make
Yeah.
that determination.
And according to the mentor class, this is where you use your guard.
Absolutely, but this is something because and this is our friend-in-law case here. You guys know who it is, one and only Azza.
Oh,
I shared it with you recently, Azza, because this is something that I've never looked at. And I was just going back over the last few days, looking over this case, right, and to recognize the posture. Because remember, I know it's Newbie Tuesday, but I'm here to learn. The Jitsit solution, who is the plaintiff, the initial plaintiff for this action, to have now the record reflects that there is a substitute plaintiff. So the plaintiff is no longer Jitsit Solutions, but another law firm, another plaintiff that was substituted. And I'm saying here we overlook
oh yeah, because
something
now they
very
can't claim
important.
that first sentence. They can't claim that first sentence.
Which one? This one here?
The first one.
Yeah, they can't. But the record must be so developed by our effort, at
Number
least.
one, you see it says the attorneys for the plaintiff gets the solutions in this action. So this is false. It's a false statement now.
Well, the other attorney should be put under pressure to
Yes.
answer questions in relation to the record, because our duty is to at least have it dictate by admissible evidence that they cannot or have failed to show how they came in possession, since because this guy must be found and questioned.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on the number one, the one you were saying that number one is not true?
Because that gets its solution is not the plaintiff in the action anymore.
Oh. Yeah, so no. What I've recognized, if you carefully look at like some of these foreclosure issues, it seems as if what's the basis for the substitution of trustee? Because how can the new attorney now use an agent from the substitute plaintiff to now swear under oath that plaintiff is the holder of the note? Which plaintiff would it be? He cannot testify according to the rules of admissible evidence unless there is documentary custodian chain showing the boarding process of the record. And I'm just saying this against things that we must scrutinize that would allow us to properly challenge these cases, whether or not it is foreclosure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There is a substitute attorney, because I realize that's a pattern and it's not limited to New York. The substitute attorney, the substitute plaintiff, the attorney for that substitute plaintiff will use the
last statement. They will use the last statement from the last attorney to try to ride off.
Yes, by saying that plaintiff is the holder, but we are not looking at the initial transaction or the initial filing that was done, the initial complaint, like in this case, because I saw another case over New Jersey that I'm actually done a forensic audit, and that's one of the things that was discovered, that the summary judgment that was granted, the record consistently reflect that the argument was challenged, the standing among other things, and the court still granted a summary judgment, while the attorney relied on the substitute plaintiff employee to know, and it was a vice president too, right, to say that plaintiff is the holder, but in specificity it did not allege which plaintiff. And just to question again, PIB test, the personal knowledge, information, and belief for business record. Under what circumstances can a substitute trustee employee testify on behalf of the initial plaintiff?
Correct.
Test again for the sufficiency of personal knowledge.
You can also do a qualified written request because they tell on themselves.
Qualified written request.
They tell on themselves and that as well, but some people miss it.
Okay, oh, you're in the Genesis. I agree with you, but yeah, it might look slight, but it is very important. That's what I'm sharing
Yes.
with you guys. It's very important because when I look up this dude here, this dude here is not any default specialist. Where is it? This
Yeah,
guy's an
somebody
under.
asked if he was the expert witness. Nope. They're not even offering them as a special expert witness.
Well, and that's what I'm saying now. I wanted to actually withdraw the last set of notice to admit that we're done. In relation to this case, to structure something else to try to get the information, because I'm saying the fact that there's a change in this, there's a substitution of the party, a plaintiff,
Yes.
and this plaintiff here, Jitsit, is not the entity that the servicing, the original transaction started with. So they must prove how they came in possession. And I think that shit unearthed majority of the foreclosure cases that are judicial.
Yes, it does. And even as a grounds for non-disclosure
there is no
people
evidence that,
to it's also the grounds for people in non-judicial situations to use to file a declaratory action or some type of action on their side. It's the same grounds, is what I'm saying. It can derail
the right to enforce our authority based upon what's asserted. But just saying, just looking at the principle where there are judicial foreclosures, how many or how often is there a substitute trustee? And look at what the attorneys are getting away with. They're getting away with an agent from the substituted trustee or substituted plaintiff to attach a verification, a sworn statement that they are not in capacity to testify or vested with sufficient personal knowledge to adequately testify on behalf of the original plaintiff in the action.
Gratitude, guys. You definitely want to check out the Make Them Settle if you're going into the situation as the plaintiff. You definitely want to check that out. It undergirds what Hassan started to say about the person capacity and the use of consumer protections. In that case, example for the class Make Them Settle, which is also now its own class. So gratitude for asking about it. It's no longer inside of Money Talk. It is its own class. So you guys can check out Make Them Settle under the workshops tab. Our friend-in-law did get a settlement being the plaintiff, which is why they were primarily showing that class. So if you want to learn from someone who actually did get a settlement doing exactly what they explained, check out that class. Get your own receipt too, right? So we can brag about you as well. All right, gratitude, guys. And thank you for that outburst, we'll call it, trading. Hopefully we didn't lose the newbies too much with that one.
No, but let me the part of it that I even really want to share though, it's only 3 minutes, right? And I'm not wasting your guys' time. I trust that much. I hope so. But
Hey, it's never a waste of time when Queen is speaking. And if anybody thinks otherwise, you guys could just go somewhere else and spend 3 more minutes.
I appreciate that. But this is so I found this on the internet after trying to look up who is Michael Campos, right? And this is what I found. According to the attorney, he's a default specialist. I'm just saying.
My dad was always involved in my life, and as a kid, he was our coach, and he'd always say, grab the bull by the horns. And since then, it's always been a motto of mine on the personal side and on the business side. My name is Mike Campos with San Diego Funding, and I'm a home mortgage loan advisor. My passion—
He's a what? A home mortgage loan advisor, at least at the time of this recording. I don't know when, just saying, right?
Is to help clients build—
Not hearing you, Malika, you're on mute if you're talking to us here.
Rewind a little bit. I need my friends on TikTok to see the intro
Yeah,
for this
you didn't say
guy
anything about
that
being
is
an attorney.
allegedly acting as a default specialist, according to
According to the attorney
testimony
who consulted. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
My dad was always involved in my life, and as a kid, he was our coach, and he'd always say, grab the bull by the horns. And since then, it's always been a motto of mine on the personal side and on the business side. My name is Mike Campos with San Diego Funding, and I'm a home mortgage loan advisor. My passion is to help clients build wealth through home ownership.
Mike's strengths are definitely his honesty and integrity, which is hard to come by these days. I mean, there's so many people out there that are in it for the quick buck, whether it's in this industry or other industries.
We have
It's rare
questions, Mike.
You find somebody who has that integrity, and Mike has it.
Throughout the years, I've worked as an underwriter, I've funded construction loans, I've helped people refinance their homes, but ultimately I felt called to focus on home purchases. The main reason being is that I pride myself in helping clients build long-term wealth through home ownership. I love being in the trenches with my realtor partners. As a team, we help educate and guide our home buyers.
My first experience working with Mike is he actually came in as a second mortgage lender for one of my buyers.
A mortgage lender. But it was asserted that
he was a default specialist.
All right.
He came in knowing that he may not get the deal, and his tenacity for getting things going, his follow-through, his communication with me, and his overall professionalism through the entire process was phenomenal.
With a background in underwriting, I'm able to review the borrower documentation quickly and accurately. You couple that with my great communication skills, and you have the perfect recipe for the best mortgage planning services around.
Mike, we have questions, Mike. We don't need to watch the rest of this.
Yeah, why should it not be explored?
Where did you get your law degree, Mike?
Law.
No, you can't blame Mike for the attorney. We can't blame Mike for what the attorney is trying to say about what Mike does.
Exactly. But what it's alluding to though is how the admissible evidence. How do we know that at the time relevant, Mike Campos was an employee or a representative of JITSIT? Where did Mike got those records from? Did they came from an actual custodian?
Right. Or did he also
saying?
review them? So it's hearsay within hearsay?
Yeah, yes. Or the documentary chain for the boarding process from the prior servicer before JITSIT.
Oh my goodness.
So those questions need to be posed to the present attorney, because if those questions cannot be answered, under what circumstance then could you move for any summary judgment or even a trial? If I'm making sense, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself here, but that's exactly how I am looking at it, that we need to go back here, Asa. I sent you an email like maybe 2 days ago, no response, but I guess you're swamped with other activities, but I continue.
Been in the business almost 20 years, and I've worked with a lot of loan officers, and I've had partnerships with a lot of loan officers, and he's a guy that stands out. He shows up, he's right there working alongside the agent, supporting them. He understands their business, takes the time to understand their business and their client needs.
Mike is different than other mortgage advisors because he really takes the time to educate, and so that you really truly understand what is going on and what the process looks like. He's also amazing at coming up with a game plan and a strategy to get us to the finish line.
Yeah, I don't think I have to play anymore, but
okay, good. I wonder if Mike knows that he was named as a default specialist.
That's my thing. That's my thing.
I would send him a copy with a notice of good faith or a deposition request or something like that.
So it's really a notice.
We were going to do a deposition on him. I have it all set up.
No, that's not the dude that was intended to do the deposition. It was Fox from Celine.
Oh, who's Mike then?
And Nick Fox is from Celine, who is the substitute servicer. So I'm going way back beyond the substitute servicer to the original. See,
Michael Zamodio, the one who filed the case.
Yes. So I'm saying, for those who are going through foreclosure, it's best when, or anything at all that dealing with the court here, to preserve the documents and don't just overlook, as slight as it is. It's telling you something. It has weight. This right here, to base your reason for filing or making an assertion that the plaintiff is entitled to enforce the note, rights under the note, is based on the fact that you have reviewed and consulted Does that alone suffice? Is that alone suffice?
Not at
It
all.
must be proven by admissible evidence at least, and it is our duty to bring that to task. But I yield again.
Yeah,
Right.
this is why you got accused of liking to play with your food and why it was so accurate from the beginning in these
Absolutely.
state courts.
Yes,
And
I'm telling you.
I have just want you to let you know I've been very inspired about what you've been sharing here, brother, over the last few years. And I definitely see why it is so much fun to
Yes.
play with your food.
It
Okay.
is. It is. This shouldn't get away. Mike, no, under no set of circumstance, because you know what, like I'm saying, when you research summary judgment, you see, you find a lot of cases that the court actually remand or overturn the summary judgment.
Yes.
I forget the exact word that's used, and it's because the witness who testified of the document did not lay proper foundation that could allow them to testify competently. Competence to form admissible evidence. And that's a hallmark for foreclosures, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Yes. I just want you guys.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
We must preserve the record to at least have it reflect where the one who is sworn as the affiant or verify whatever statement that is used to support a summary judgment, when it's carefully scrutinized, it will reflect that, or should reflect that he or she does not possess the foundation that is required to cause admissible evidence in proper form. And that's what it is. I'm singing that all the way home.
I hope you guys are getting that message loud and clear, even though it might not click right now. Rewatch it. And I just want to also tell you guys, this is why we're setting up our mentoring program for mortgages exclusively. It's not that we don't appreciate all the people dealing with family court, traffic court, and other things, but this, as I said in the beginning, it's your shelter. It is what is necessary to protect all of your other relief actions that you might wish to go through, regardless of if it's child support, child custody, alimony, debt collection of any kind, traffic, etc. If you don't secure your housing, it's going to be very difficult. It's not impossible, but it's going to be very difficult when you are living with family, living out of hotel rooms, or even focusing on buying another house or securing another shelter. It's very distracting. And their timelines, as was also spoken about in the beginning of today's call, that you might miss because you are displaced and for no other reason. So we may order a specific mentorship for other things, but right now what we're offering is mentorship specifically for your mortgage, how to properly challenge your current mortgage if you're current on a mortgage, or a potential foreclosure, regardless of what stage that you may be at. And depending on circumstances, which is why it's important you guys go. Let me just turn my camera on one more time for my folks on TikTok. The folks everywhere else are already seeing. We're inviting you guys to come here. Okay, this is lawfulliving.com/mortgage-mentorship. And let us know that you're interested. Okay, for the folks who already signed up, we will be sending out emails pretty soon about what we've narrowed or expanded things, depending on how you want to look at it. You guys will get an email soon, either tonight or set to go in the morning, about what it is the total offer is and how you can get in. So if you're just interested, come to the website, put your name and email address in, and we will get you the information. Gratitude, Nana, for putting it in there. So I'm just glad everybody's going to be able to get in. Jack, let's take some last two questions. Jack, go ahead with your questions, and then I hope Hassan got his screen queued up for his QR code that he will share of how you guys can get into his class coming up on the 18th of next month of July.
The 11th.
And then the
The
second
11th
one
and
on
the
the 18th,
18th.
right?
Yes, yes.
11th. The 11th and the 18th. Gratitude for the correction, guys. Jack, go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst.
Yes, I have a question. Thank you. I am currently in arbitration for an auto finance situation, and the arbitrator has granted a motion for that I put forth for the finance company to provide the name of the repossession company that they attempted to use after zeroing out the account. And also they were ordered to provide the accounting, and they have not done either. And I've asked the arbitrator to like give like hard deadlines, and he's slow to respond to that. Um, what would your next step be with regard to this? Would you reach out to the respondent to settle, or um, go back to the arbitration to compel them to respond?
So thank you for your question. And I just want everybody to know that this is just what Malika would do. And this is not me giving you advice on what anybody else should do. Okay? So do whatever you want. But I would not have my case in arbitration. I would sue whoever is trying to, or whoever did take my stuff, and as the plaintiff, force them to settle. Force them to be having this conversation, asking this question to their colleagues about how they should settle with you. Because I've not known anybody to have success in that area in arbitration, in that area of actually involving your car. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Any of my colleagues know anybody who has successfully won in arbitration for this issue when it comes to auto finance? That's a question for you too, Jack. Do you know anyone?
I think our friend-in-law, Red, has definitely shown that for sure.
Won in arbitration when he was bringing the case, or the case was against him?
Oh, you know what? Maybe it was against him. Now that I think about
check it. Let's. I mean, he wasn't here. I don't know if he's still in here, but that would be one person. But I don't know anybody who wins in arbitration. So Malika would sue in regular court in a way that forces them to settle.
Okay.
However, you sound like you have a pretty good thing going. When you mention stuff about the arbiter dragging their feet and stuff like that, that's one of the reasons that I would be frustrated with arbitration, because of those types of things. You know, I'm like, follow the rules and everybody's going to be okay. Don't follow the rules, I start blasting off complaints on people. If they qualify for those complaints, everybody starts getting pissed off.
Got it. They didn't repossess the car, but they attempted to.
Right, I understand.
Yeah, okay.
So your perfect remedy, or your best remedy, would be to get them to release their interest, correct or no?
Yes.
See? And
they refused to do that too. That's part of all of it. It's been ongoing. And
are you the one who brought the arbitration, or are they?
Yes, I brought it.
Okay. So let's confirm. Are you on TikTok?
No.
Okay. So I'll probably put you in touch with one of our friends-in-law that I'm not, depending on if he was the plaintiff or the defendant. Okay.
Okay.
To see what he says, I'll consult with him. But like you asked me what I would do, and that's what I gave you.
Thank you.
But I do wish you success, because I want to be able to say I know somebody who brought a case in arbitration and they won.
I've won other cases that didn't actually go to hearings. They were settled before a hearing, but they were for other smaller
That's what
dollar
I'm
amounts.
saying. Sue them and make them settle, right?
Yes.
That's wonderful. Yeah, they might not want to release this particular thing because it might be 10,000 or more, and they be fighting for that.
Yeah, but the contract expired. They're not they're not on the actual contract. It's very convoluted. And if Standing on Nonsense was a company, it would be this one
So let me
specifically.
just say this, and it's related to what Trading Brigade just said, which is regardless of what the case is, regardless of what we might think the subject matter of the case is, it all still boils down to the rules of evidence. That's it.
Exactly.
It
Okay.
all still boils down to the rules of evidence. It doesn't matter what kind of case it is. So it's not what is said, it's or asserted, it's what can be proven with admissible evidence.
Okay.
So go ahead.
I was gonna say, should I message you so that you'll have my contact?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely message me. support@lawfulliving.com or support@freedomfromgovernment.org. Those are the two ways to reach me, guys. Those are the only two ways. And one of the reasons is that it's for protection. It's protection of our community and protection of myself. When people are messaging me and I start reaching back out and then you can't tell which Malika is talking to you. And then I hope the gentleman that gave somebody $2,000 comes back on and lets us know that he was able to cancel that, because I don't even have anything right now that's $2,000. So if you paid somebody for a class or something, like, just stick with my official websites. We fixed the front page issue with Freedom from Government. Sorry, with lawfulliving.com. Again, thank you for your question. Yes, reach out. Hassan, you ready, bro? Yes, somebody got scammed, at least 2K, and these are just the people who are speaking out. There are other people that got scammed. That's the most I've heard so far, but there are other people that got scammed out of $100, $200. And even though that might not seem like a lot, it is a lot, especially when people think that Malika, is asking for help. It comes across like I'm asking for help, and they legitimately think that they're helping me. And the other thing is that it's pure donation, right? They think that they're just helping me. And so they're sending $100, $200 to somebody thinking that they're helping Malika. It's not going to me, because I would never ask you guys for that. Not saying that you can't go and donate. If you actually go to my official sites, you could you can donate if you want, right? But saying like, hey, I have an issue, send me $100 or $200, I would never do that. That's the reason I offer value in the first place. Here we go on the screen, guys. Let me turn it around for the folks on TikTok.
Yep. I'm still muted.
Your screen was good, though.
Oh, I wasn't muted. I thought I was muted. Okay, cool. All right. So, precise prompting workshop, guys. July 11th is when it's open for everyone. For July 11th, come and get ready to, learn how to interact with AI in a very productive way. And that's what precise prompting does. It's not just what to prompt. It's going to be more focused on how to free yourself up, right? But the generalness of that you'll get on the 11th. Those of you with state remedies, right? You've gotten a state remedy from me before. There's a bonus class, right? So those of you that have state remedies and you transact for class for the 11th, that automatically gets you to the bonus class on the 18th of July. And what we'll be going into there when it comes to precise prompting, it'll be so that we can actually get the goal that we desire when it comes to analyzing our legal issue. So precise prompting, July 11th for everyone. On the 18th is a bonus class for those with state remedies where we'll go a little deeper. Because what this will be an introduction into is a bit of the data engineering software development world, and bringing it from that perspective, I trust allows you to see AI in the light of how I think we should be using it, so to say, right?
Yeah, don't be using it to ask when the next movie is starting near you. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think we should be more on. Okay, let me put it in terms like this. If you remember the cartoon The Jetsons, right? They had a maid called Rosie. So I guess Rosie would be the first Roomba, right? But anyway, Rosie had to be programmed to be Rosie,
Yep.
right? In order for Rosie to take care of the house the way that Rosie was taking care of the house, someone had to think about all of those things that needed to be done. And so things had to be precisely prompted in order for Rosie to be operative, right? So what we'll be going over is a bit of an introduction of that on the 11th, but very usable. Very, if you guys know anything about me, I'm all about instant implementation. And I trust within the first hour of class, you guys would be able to even try some things on your own AI and then see the difference in response once you put in certain elements for precise prompt. And after these classes, I'm sure that you guys are going to have fresh eyes and a new approach to AI, no matter which one it is. So,
Wonderful.
so yes, precise prompting is definitely a universal tool as far as whatever AIs you're deciding to use. And
Awesome.
I yield.
Yes. So for those who do not have smartphones and they cannot scan, go to brotherhassan.com. Go to brotherhassan.com, guys. And you'll get the same information to sign up there. And of course, you can go there from your computer.
And there's a tiny URL, I guess, for those that need the tiny URL if they don't scan the QR code.
Right. So take a picture of that and you can go to the tinyurl.com/precise-prompting-workshop, which is the name of the class. So we got several ways and no excuses. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's Newbie Tuesday. This is a taste of what we do and how we get down every Tuesday. So we hope you guys thought enough to join us once again next Tuesday. But we have advanced classes as well. Before now, you were unable to just join the community and have access to our Thursday and Friday classes, but we are making that more universally available. I know some of you guys are still not going to do your prerequisites and are going to show up in class and you're going to ask questions that you should be already knowing the answer to because you've studied the Newbie Tuesday guide and you've started to educate yourself on the terminology that we use so that on Thursdays and Fridays, when we're moving faster, even though this might be fast for some of y'all, than we even are here on Tuesdays. That's what Thursdays and Fridays are on. But again, I don't want to keep you guys. We'll be giving announcements. I'll be back on later tonight just for our free how to challenge your mortgage training. I decided it's so important, guys. I'm giving free training 2 hours every night where we talk about it and we give you guys an opportunity to get in on our mentoring program again because of how super important it is that all of us secure our shelter. So just whenever I get on TikTok, it'll be in the evening. It'll be 6 o'clock or beyond Pacific time. And that's because we got to go dig 3 holes. No, 4, 6. We got to plant some berries, plant some cherry trees that already got cherries on them and ain't even in the ground. And things like that. So I'll be out there getting our hands dirty. And for some of you, we have another channel here on TikTok called Adam Eve Homesteading. We actually just launched our information product on how we purchased land owner finance. We did it twice already, and we figured it's time that we teach other people how to do it on the same principle about the mortgage mentoring, okay? Securing your land is probably going to be easier than buying a house. For most people looking at a house today, securing your land is probably going to be easier than getting a house. Some of y'all already know what I'm talking about. So we're showing you guys how we were able to do it twice. First time 10 years ago, a decade ago. Do you think we have some knowledge about whatever we did? So we did it again in August, and we're sharing it with you guys. How we went from foreclosure, like I mentioned in the beginning of this call, in Texas, temporary living with our sister, then moving 2,000 miles away on an invitation, having never visited the state before, ever, and how we were able to thrive doing that. Not saying y'all have to take the exact route, but we're at least going to show you how we got land. So that's on our other channel. That's what I'll be working on when I'm not here. And our book is launched. And as we have been talking, a lot of people have gone to either download our free guide or our paid information product on how we did the whole process. So I'm very excited to about that, obviously, which is why I'm sharing for a second here. If you know where our page already is, go find it. If you don't know, then you just don't know. And maybe I'll pop up in your YFP. Okay. What is it called? Why For You page? Okay. So until next time, until we're on either on TikTok or you're in with us already on Thursdays and Fridays, peace and courage.
Peace.
Mwah.